Hello there, people of the world. Thank you so much for watching today's episode of Coffee Chats with Jax. I have some things this week that I have been going through. Do you guys know what it's like to be trapped under the shame weight? Just holding you down. You feel like there's this burden on your shoulders and you don't know what to do, and it changes the way you view yourself. It changes the way you think people view you. It changes the way you think God views you, and you're kind of just trapped. You've done some things that maybe not recently, maybe it was even a long time ago in your past, but you've done those things and you're so embarrassed and so ashamed, and you start to let them define you, and you know the truth and you know that you're forgiven. It's done. But you just can't seem to let your mind accept it. I've been having to go through my past a lot recently to try and dig out the stuff that happened, to try and find the truth behind it so I can learn to see myself how God sees me. And the only way to do that is to go through those things that you were too scared to go through before. Dig deep and just find out the truth, find out the lies you've been believing, process it, feel the emotions that are meant to be felt, and then you can move on, then you're free. You can't just go through life thinking, I believe in Jesus, I'm fine, old me's dead, news me's here. That's true, but you won't actually be okay with that in your heart unless you process old you and you figure out what happened. It sucked because there's some things that happened in my life. I made some bad choices. They're really affecting how I view myself, you guys, and it kept me in this shame. My first instinct was that I don't want anybody to know. If I don't tell anybody, no one will know, no one will see me, it's fine, people will still like me, because I was so scared that if people knew this about me, that would change how they see me. Didn't bring it up at first. It took me a minute before I finally did, thank goodness, but I didn't want anyone to know. The enemy uses the shame that we put on ourselves. He uses that to isolate us. He uses that shame to make us feel like we can't share with anyone, so that we end up just sitting in our hurt and we can't grow. It keeps us from growing in our relationship with God and just growing into who we're meant to be. It's not fun. But you guys, once I started sharing and processing, it took a while. I laid it down and I prayed to him. I was like, God, take this away. I'm finished with this. I'm done. Because you guys, the truth is, when we sit in our shame and we sit and think that we're just condemned, and we sit in our condemnation, which is not a thing, by the way. Condemnation doesn't exist in Jesus. But when we sit in that, it's kind of like we're saying, okay, Jesus died for literally everyone's sins but mine. Mine is the exception. The reason that it was so hard for me to get out of this shame was because it was hard for me to understand the forgiveness of God. Because it was hard for me to understand the love of God. That, I think, is the root of the issue here. If I don't understand the love of God, what do I have? I have a book of rules. And when that hit me, that, wow, I don't think that makes sense, which is never going to fully make sense because it's so huge. God's love is so illogical and ginormous that we'll never be able to fully get it. But the more we get it, it's like a little present. Every step of the way, every little nugget of revelation that he gives us. And guys, Jesus doesn't like it when we sit in our shame. He hates shame. He came to destroy shame. Guys, when we are feeling feelings of accusation, like we are wrong, we need to ask the Holy Spirit to free us of that. That is the only way we can actually experience the pure liberation that comes from what Jesus did for us. Because if we see it and we accept it, but we don't experience it, we are not even close to experiencing the joy that is there for us through Jesus. There's so much peace and freedom there that we can't get because shame is such a roadblock on how we see ourselves. The best way to fix feelings of condemnation is to realize God's love for us. That's how we'll find peace and healing of this condemnation. We can't do it on our own. We need to view ourselves with the grace that God views us with. When we follow Jesus, he uses the word blameless to describe us. He looks at us and he sees righteous, holy people because he sees us through Jesus' eyes. Can you imagine how much freedom will come when we learn to see ourselves the way God sees us? Can you imagine the confidence that we'll walk in? I want that. I want that really bad. I was reading the story of the prodigal son. I've heard that story so many times, but my problem is, since I can't understand God's love fully, I asked him to show me so that I can experience it to its potential that it has. And I'm reading my devotional. My devotional references the prodigal son. And if you guys don't know that story, The son, he takes his father's inheritance, he goes out and he parties and gambles it all away, just trashes his life, does terrible things, and then he comes back to his father when he's wiped out clean, has nothing left. And he expected his father to make him a servant or something. As he's walking up the pathway, his father sees him and he runs to him. He runs to him with compassion and love. He's excited to see him. He's so happy he's home. He embraced him, he kissed him, he brought him the finest robes, killed the best pigs, that's what they did back then. They didn't care where his son had been. All he cared about was that he was back, he was home, he was safe, he was alive. That is how God sees us. Jesus said that. If anyone knows the Father, it's the Son. And Jesus told that story to represent how God looks at us. So when we do something wrong, anything wrong, when we go back to God, He runs to us with compassion. It's taken care of. He doesn't care. He knows where we've been. He knows, and He doesn't care because He loves you. He already took care of that. All you have to do is run to Him and He will be there. He will be there to love you anyway, and He will be there to embrace you anyway. So you guys, the shame is pointless. I prayed so much to God to take the shame away. And this morning, you guys, I literally felt like Jesus took weights off of my shoulders. And I felt lighter, and it was amazing. And that's what I want for you. I want for everyone who feels this. Okay, guys, well, I love you, and I will talk to you next week. Thank you guys so much for watching this video today on Coffee Chats with Jax. If you can relate in any kind of way to what I was talking about in today's video, this topic, if you have a story or a past or anything that you have questions about or opinions, maybe you just want to talk, please go check out my Patreon page. There's going to be a link in the description box below, or click right there where it says Patreon, and that is going to take you to my Patreon page, which is where we will be discussing this further, having more conversations about it. That's where that is going to be going on, and you can share stories, ask questions, relate, anything that you need. Thank you again so much for your support, so much for your encouragement. Seriously means the absolute world. I cannot tell you that enough. I love you guys, and I will see you next time.